always loved my wife. I've always loved my children. I've always loved my grandchildren. And I have always loved my country. That was Dwight Eisenhower.
That indeed was Dwight Eisenhower. The last words of a great man, a great soldier, and an inspiring leader, spoken by his friend and President Richard Nixon. General Eisenhower was a man of victory, Supreme Commander of the Allied forces which reclaimed Europe from the Nazis, President of the United States. He knew how to win. Even in his fight for life, he did not surrender easily. But inevitably, that last battle had to be lost. And so they mourned for him in Washington, as they did throughout the United States and the world. The old soldier everyone called Ike had gone. On this cool, early spring day, the cortege and its military escort made its way to the Capitol, past thousands of silent Americans lining the route. All, no matter what their politics, loved their most famous soldier. The empty saddle would forever remain empty. But from the highest to the humblest, Ike will always be remembered. Inside the massive rotunda of the Capitol, his widow, his family, and the representatives of many nations waited for the simple flag-draped coffin to be borne into the Hall of the Great, to rest there in state while the thousands who loved and admired the man with the always ready smile came to pay their last tribute. The riderless black horse with the boots reversed in the stirrups was a moving reminder of the bereavement a nation had suffered. At last, the coffin bearing the remains of General Eisenhower was slowly carried to the place where it would rest until the following day. Past the wife he so dearly loved, past the children, now full-grown, who bear his name with pride, past the captains and kings, the presidents and princes. The Shah of Persia, sad-faced and sorrowing, not alone in his feelings, feelings shared by all the high and the mighty assembled at this deeply emotional time. And so the pallbearers of the combined services left the coffin to rest amidst the silent throng, among them many who best remember General Eisenhower as the inspiration behind D-Day, the great and powerful light who did so much to stamp out the Nazi scourge. Young and old, black and white, patiently they waited for their turn to file past the coffin, to be alone with their thoughts, close to the remains of a truly great man. The time had almost come for the coffin to be taken to Washington National Cathedral for the funeral service. There, on Washington's highest hill, over 2,000 distinguished mourners gathered. U Thant, Secretary General, United Nations. President de Gaulle. King Bedouin. Wartime comrade-in-arms, Lord Mountbatten. The former President, Lyndon Johnson. President Nixon, his wife and daughter, and the general's widow and family, those for whom grief was so personal. Here was the start of the great general's long ride home. From a funeral service attended by the famous, he was to be taken by train away from Washington, across the mountains and plains to the farmland that bore him, and there in Abilene laid to rest. Ike had done his duty for his country and the world. Now was his time for the peace which follows victory.